Today I'm joined by Michael Koltes, star of Ghosts of Darkness, and together we're going to relive the pain of making that movie, which was shot now back in 2015, if I remember.
Oh God, long time ago.
A long time ago. So for most of the people who are watching this, a lot of the people in my channel have found my channel through Ghosts of Darkness. So constantly on a daily basis, I'll either get a question or a comment on the movie. And since I recut the film, I don't know if you've seen the recut I did.
When did you recut it?
Maybe like a year ago.
No. Well, what did you change?
I like cut the start out. It's just like a tighter movie. Remember the start was so overly violent for no reason at all.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I cut all that out. In a weird way, it's now like a child-friendly movie. And
Oh,
and since I've done that, the audience have found this movie, and I would say 95% of all the comments are like super positive. So I'm going to take you back, Michael. I mean, this was a long time ago. I want for the audience to know this was a super micro budget film. We had $50,000 to make this, and I mean we transfer that to British pound. Back then, what, £40,000, something like that. So we filmed this in, and everyone asked me this question. It was filmed in Fort William, Scotland, actually just next to Fort William in Scotland, in a place called Argore House, which, yes, you can rent. You can find it on Google. It's another question answered.
It's a beautiful area, and we had to take a boat.
That's right.
I got to take a little ferry or a little ferry crossing to get to the island or wherever it was.
Yeah, we were really quite remote, and you're right. We had to take a ferry, and then once we were across there really wasn't anything but the house, really.
Yeah, and I think there's Paul. He found a pub or something, like a little cafe slash pub that he used to disappear to sometimes when he got too much of us.
But yeah, we stayed the whole. I mean, the crew was really small. I mean, there must have been about 10 of us all together, and we stayed in that house. And the rooms we used in the movie were your bedrooms.
Yeah. Although I think I asked specifically to be in a room that wasn't being used as a location.
Is that
So
right?
it was on the top floor.
So what do you remember of the shoot? I mean, it's been a while now, and for me, it's a bit of a blur. You know, it will, like you go on and make different movies and all that. So sometimes it is hard to kind of think back. Well, first of all, I'm just like, how did we make it for $50,000? Like, it kind of blows my mind.
We kept the crew down, and we got some really good actors for very little money.
Yes.
And locations was like basically what, 2 locations?
I think that was it. I
It
mean,
was Argyle House and the other place.
Oh, of course, yeah. We went back to Aberdeen and filmed in another building. That's right. I forgot about that. That was at the tail end of the shoot. And yeah, it was, I mean, I guess it was an interesting film. It was actually the first film I ever got finance for. My other movies I'd kind of paid for. So I remember being quite reserved in the way I shot the movie, which I think kind of lends itself to the film actually when you watch it back. But you and Paul had quite a lot of input into the script.
Yes.
Like, you guys really did change a lot of my, as my friend calls it, dialogue. Try and keep the beats.
Yeah, it just needed a little bit of to be a little bit more natural, I guess. And to bring our characters into it a little bit more, I think. But yeah, I think we worked on that the first night we were there. I had looked at it obviously before, but I think the first night we were there, we had like a script meeting, and we read through the script and ironed out a lot of things, but we adjusted as we went, I think, for a few things.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, because I remember I gave Paul a writing credit, but you didn't want one in the end. But you really did put in as much as he did. if I remember
Uh-huh.
correctly.
Yeah.
I take all the credit, obviously, but
It's all you, buddy.
yeah, yeah. So the interesting thing about Ghosts of Darkness is when it came out, it actually came out to universally good reviews, which is kind of amazing for an independent film. And then
Uh-huh.
we got a deal on Redbox, and then boom, the film just disappeared. As basically as quick as the film came out, it just disappeared. Like,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think I'm probably one of the only people that bought the disc. I mean, I don't know what happened, but it just disappeared off the radar until it made its way onto social media. And it's through the social media, Facebook, YouTube, it's really started to find its audience. And I mean, we're into the millions and millions of views now on YouTube. And it's a way to go onto a new YouTube channel that shows movies for free for the ad revenue, obviously. So the film's about to get like another kind of push, if you'd like. And I just wondered what your take on it is, because sometimes when you make movies or acting movies and you've went on to do bigger and better stuff, and then there's always this one movie that's kind of niggling away in the background that won't disappear. Like, how do you look back on this movie retrospectively?
I look back at it as a lot of fun, actually. I did really enjoy the experience. We were like a little family there shooting on that in those houses. And yeah, it was a lot of fun for me, you know. And I think the now that you just told me that you recut it as well, I thought like the I was always hesitant to show my family because of that opening scene, but now that it's gone, I think I might show them, you know. So yeah, I think maybe only like one of my brothers has seen it because of that. You know, I think if they would have seen that opening scene, they would have like been like, Michael, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's been recolored, completely new sound design. And like
Oh
I
wow.
say, now it's more like a family movie. I mean, there's a bit at the end when your wife is stabbing herself in the stomach that's you could argue is not for kids. But apart from that, the feedback now is, oh, it's such a lovely, ghost story family movie, which I always kind of find funny because I'm just like,
Mm.
wow, I'm sure it was supposed to be scary.
Well, I mean, whenever you put comedy with horror, it does dilute the scary out of it a little bit to a degree, but it's still nice to mix, I think, comedy and horror or ghost.
One of the there's quite a few comments on a one particular scene where you do this massive monologue, and rightfully so because it was a huge monologue when you're describing your dead wife's past. I
Uh,
actually still remember it's one of the few things I really remember is shooting that scene. We only did it like 3 times. I
yeah.
remember. I mean, that was a hell of a lot of stuff for you to remember, and you really did. And then I think in the script it was going to have actual flashbacks of what
Hmm.
happened to your wife, but you did such a good job. We were just let it kind of flow by itself. I mean,
Thank you.
what was that
Uh-huh.
like? I think even you actually managed to push a tear out, and I was always worried because when I changed the angle, I was like, you better have that tear come out at the same time.
Yeah, I remember talking to you about that on the day. You were like, "Yeah, now you're gonna have to repeat that."
Yeah, yeah,
I
um,
think I did though. I think I managed to get tears on a few takes, at
yeah.
least two.
And
But
I always laugh because Paul's just in the background. He has to, he just has to sit there for like 4 minutes as you do this like intense monologue in front of him. But that gets brought up all the time. I think it's little scenes like that. It's just one of these weird movies for whatever reason people watch, and obviously they enjoy it. But there's some kind of weird charm to it. You know what I mean? There's just something you can't explain. There's something I can't see because I made it. But
mhm.
obviously, reading through the like thousands of comments, there's something about the movie that just connects with the audience. What do you think it is?
Um, I think it's partly, that we were having a pretty good time making it. I think maybe that also carries through a little bit, but also I think the diversity of these two characters playing off of each other, it does somehow work, and I think a lot of the comments that I've received from fans or people that have watched it has been a lot about that, how you guys work well together, as a team, so
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I guess it has got that kind of corny character arc. You guys don't like each other, and at the end, you are like almost best of friends. It's such a sweet, happy ending until he stabs you. A lot of people on YouTube, especially, always asked if that house was actually haunted, and I can't really remember anything. I know Paul Flannery is a hardcore skeptic, but I do remember one time the sound guy reported hearing things above him and stuff smashing in the kitchen. Can you remember
Hmm.
that?
I remember them talking about it. It is quite ironic actually that Paul was serious skeptic and I'm actually open to it.
Yeah,
It was like he was like, no, 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 no. And I was like, could be, could be.
yeah, he's like hardcore. No, ghosts don't exist. But I mean,
Yeah.
there was a couple creepy times filming in the house because at night it's pitch dark. I mean, it's just black because we're in the middle of nowhere. But there would have
Yes.
deers mating in the background that would sound crazy, like it was some kind of like bear coming to kill you. I'll never.
I do remember that, yes, at nighttime. And also, I mean, that basement was pretty creepy.
That's right. I remember the owner. One of the things he said was, "You can film anywhere, but you're not allowed to film in the basement." And I was like,
Oh.
"What's in the basement?" So So I'm glad we filmed. Also, remember there was a door. You open the door. It's in the movie, and the door was kind of plasterboarded. There was nothing behind it.
Yes,
So what's
I do
in
remember
there?
that. Yeah, what was
Yeah,
in there?
yeah. That reminds me also of a strange time where one of the grips, I forget his name, informed everyone that he was going to take a knife and go out and try and kill the deer.
Yes, yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember his
Dude,
name. So, looking back now, what was your favorite experience making Ghosts of Darkness?
I mean, to me, there's a lot of scenes I liked, and I especially loved stabbing Big Beard.
Yeah, you know they
He
they
had it coming.
they ch they changed his eyes with special effects, and
I
Liam
saw.
he hates it. He hates that.
I was quite scared doing that part. I was
There,
quite scared.
yeah, there's actually behind the scenes where you really do just have some knives stabbing a dummy, and the
Yeah,
actor was behind the dummy. I mean,
yeah,
looking back, I'm like, oh my word.
yeah.
I'll
What the
say,
hell?
I know, I can't believe we're doing stuff like that. But I got to ask you about the swimming pool, Michael.
Oh yeah, the pool.
That's for people watching. Yes, that is a real swimming pool, and it's actually in that house. And no, they claim it was heated, but I did go in there at one point, and that pool is
It,
pretty cold.
it was definitely not heated.
And
Definitely not.
I'm trying to remember. I think we made you do that twice. I think we had two.
Maybe it was at least twice, maybe three times.
I think we splurged on the budget to get two costumes that you had, so we could put you in the swimming pool. But
Well, two falling ins, but then there was also the having to stay in there and see him eating the crisps and commenting on me, and then me getting angry at him.
yeah, it is a strange place. There's been a few movies actually shot there over the years, but
Oh, really?
apparently the guy that runs it, for anyone who does stay at Argor House, they actually keep the DVD out for the people that stay on holiday, so you can watch the
Oh,
film uh, and be like creeped out that maybe Paul Flannery is kicking about somewhere.
nice.
Well, you know what? I'm going to wrap it up, Michael. I want to obviously thank you for taking the time because you're in China, I'm in Scotland. And yeah, we're going to keep in touch. And for the people watching, look out for Ghost of Darkness on my channel, and the channel that's coming out is called Free Flicks. I'll put it in the description below exactly when it's coming out, and you can check it out there. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can also catch this on the Blu-ray special edition that's going to come out, collector's edition, and I'll keep you in touch with that.